welcome to a Gunfire build review. Today we're taking a look at Momo's Super Drive, one of the biggest AoE clear currently available in the game. And we're achieving this using Season 7 rune secrets, and specifically the 2 new added runes in the mid-season update. It is really easy to start, you just need the Spirit Blessing, everything else will come up naturally as you play, but it will feel a little bit clunky early with the ink generation, but it will all be sorted out as you progress a bit. You might ask yourself, okay, I do not have Momo. Can I play this build with anything else, or is this a Momo specific build? Well, Momo makes this build easy and fast to just start going. You can actually play it with other characters. One is Crown Prince. Well, Crown Prince doesn't really have generations of secondary. Its secondary ability stays on the ground for a long time, which deals a lot of damage. So it will be a really nice pickup, but you will feel like you're not really fast, because the cooldown kinda makes you sit still and the enemies have to come to you instead of you rushing to enemies. Leiluo is another great option. He is really fast, and you already have a build using his ascension to generate chain lightnings while you are currently using it. So it does make him a really good pickup, but it is very ascension reliant. It is not the most consistent, but it is a great option. The secondary best option, in my opinion, is Zi Xiao. His secondary is really strong, but specifically because when he generates a secondary, he actually generates more than one, especially when you ascend into the Astro Forecasts. You gain a ton of cards, and he just blasts through. I did a run where I phased the Gluttony's invulnerability phase just by having so many cards and all abusing the insane power and boost of Super Bomb. Let's start with Ascension. Since this is going to be a specialized secondary build for Momo, we are focusing on the middle path. We're going to try and focus on getting sharp penmanship to get our base damage up. We're going to try and get ink flow to increase damage, and also the area damage will increase its base damage. So since we're increasing the damage by default with the runes, this will be a massive upgrade. Ink Curtain is also a great pickup. Not only does it give the ink size, but it generates ink points. This will be very important in order to sustain the automatic secondary that we are going to use because of the Spirit Blessing that we'll see later in the video. Ink Regeneration is a nice upgrade. We don't need it maxed out, but at least a few points will do. The Restoration is very important, but also the Storage Cap is a damage upgrade, and you'll see why when we look at Super Bomb. Pause in turn is not really required. It's okay if there's nothing available. It's just a defensive. It's pretty nice. Quick Sketch is interesting. Increases the blank domain's bonus movement speed, and it increases its damage, but we will have a lot of damage, so this is okay to have, not a requirement. Now, what is an interesting requirement is Breathing Rhythm. This might look normally a non-pickup for this build, but the ink point gain is pretty nice, and the ultimate form, generating blank domain, allows us to generate even more ink points. It combos very well and allows us to kind of use our secondary automatically way more often. From the blue side, Yink and Blank, Yin and Yang is another pretty nice pickup. You'll make sure that our ink domain, which is currently always active, will also be considered blank domain. Not only does this give us a nice boost of movement speed, but it will consider us generating resources, so if you can pick it up, it will be a nice addition. Now, onto the runes. The Season 7 game mechanic brought us a lot of interesting buffs and unique ways to play the game, and one of them is this new mid-season update, secondary skill Super Bomb. This brothers the secondary skill Super Bomb. which increases our final damage when we use the secondary skill. It also increases the range or the number of targets it can increase if the skill changes instead. But it consumes 20% of our secondary skill capacity, and for every 1 consumption, all bonuses are increased by 20. So this means the final damage and the AoE or the chains. But it puts our secondary skill on a 3-second baseline cooldown. So to abuse this, we kind of have to find a way to generate or use secondary skill abilities without having to press a secondary skill. Momo is a perfect target for this with one of his spirit blessings that just automatically uses it as he gains certain amounts of ink thresholds. This is also important because after using it, the final damage dealt by the secondary skill and its range is increased by a bonus that lasts for 2 seconds at maximum capacity. So you kind of want to use this bonus that it just gave you. So there's a few ways to do it. And the other that we are just also using is secondary skill overload. By gaining 1 stack every 2 seconds for secondary skill use consumes, you can use your secondary skill to consume 12 to enter overload, which automatically deals skill effects to the nearest enemy ahead, but you can't use the secondary skill during this time. Now, you already will not use it, so it is just an added bonus to it. Now, I might say, well, in the gameplay you will see I did use secondary skill overload. The damage that it dealt was pretty meaningless because the range is very short. I need to be on top of enemies to do so. And when I used the secondary skill, Super Bomb, and any other stuff to increase the range, they were just off-screening everything, and this dealt like 1% of my damage. While you see me start with this, it's not the best use or best keep. You'll probably take it off for anything else. Now onto a very unique one. Secondary skill Spirit Max Capacity. Now this might not sound anything crazy on the surface, but Super Bomb's text reads that it consumes 20% of our secondary skill capacity, and for every 1 it increases by 20%. So when we increase our secondary capacity by a lot, we are also increasing the damage and range. So this is a big boost. Secondary skill Spirit Tide is also a great addition. Now you might not want to start with this because it kinda sucks using it early, costs 2 additional secondary skills, so it actively drains you fast. But later on, when you're just spamming your Q every 6 seconds, if you have 2 super bombs, you will gain a massive boost in skill damage, so it's always good to have later on. Now it is important to note that while the secondary skill on super bomb says it gains 3 seconds, it actually doubles if you use 2, but it is worth it to use 2. Secondary skill damage, this one is just really good. This one increases the base damage, which is very important because we're scaling so much our final damage. Increasing the base damage is really strong. So having at least 1 or 2 of these can massively increase our damage output. Secondary skill Spirit Strike. This one is the also new one that came out with Super Bomb, and this is crazy. This stores a portion of damage dealt by a secondary skill. And when we deal weapon damage, it takes a portion of that stored damage and deals it at true damage with 1 second cooldown. And the overflow is crazy amounts. You will see it in the wording of the gameplay. And because of the Momo, we abuse the fact that we go into ink form and we can't shoot by using Starfly, so we can keep shooting. So we can kind of do a loop where we are super bomb triggering, we are triggering all these secondary skills with massive amounts of damage, and Spirit Strike is also striking. It's really strong. Secondary skill Spirit Burning. This one is also really nice. It buffs our secondary damage by how much we consume, which is great. It goes up to 10 stacks, and because we consume a lot when we use a secondary, as we consume 20% of our maximum, this will immediately be maxed out, and it also has a chance to refund the cost, which allows us to kind of resustain a bunch of the drawbacks of just using a lot of our secondary skill. And secondary skill Spirit Restore. This one is good, especially early. You want to have this as you kind of want to spam it a bit, even though the automation will help not using it a lot. Especially later on, you will have so much of your max capacity that this is almost meaningless, and Spirit Burning will help more, but it will be really good. This can be substituted by a bunch of stuff later on. Now we can use multiple other things instead of like Overload or Restore. Spirit Boost is an option. It increases the damage for each rune. It increases even more. By time, if you want to keep it up with Spirit Restore, this allows you to get some final damage in. And gives you also range, which is funny. Multiple cast is interesting. I don't believe the automated casts use this, so unsure on that, but it's still really strong. Spirit Surge is also pretty strong. Skill damage, and it goes up very high and very fast with the skill. This one early, it doesn't truly hurt, but it's not the best with this. We kind of hit a lot, but it's just not worth it. Celestial Broken is an interesting pickup. By having at least some recovery, it consumes 1 stack at regular intervals to just use your secondary skill, which is really nice. You need some regeneration, so it will probably substitute skill overload, and you can pre-stack it, so when you go into bosses, you can even do more damage. But you're already almost phasing bosses, but it is a nice addition to the build. Here, we choose a rune array, doesn't really matter. We are going with overconsumption, just one of the cheesiest starters that you can get. Now, we are going into Spirit Blessing. We're going to refresh, just trying to get overflowing ink. We have it here. Overflowing ink is going to scale off a lot. Here we're just going to pick secondary skill overload, but you can get Spirit Boost, doesn't really matter. Overflowing ink was our specific pick, as we're going to get us a lot of damage from our energy shield, but it's going to generate a secondary skill every time it hits the 20 cap. You can kind of see it in the middle. Now here's our first Golden Goblet. Golden Goblet, I just went for Breathing Rhythm just to get more ink. Here we didn't got really anything specific. In our second one, we kind of got Merciless Combo. Helps us a bit with the starting damage. Here we just cycle this one with ammo. Our second goblet, we got Ink Curtain. It's pretty nice for the regeneration of ink. We got a Peddler with a Starfly, which is what we need. We don't really care about the level. And we also got the Bluff and the Ancient Timer. The Timer is pretty nice. Here we got the useless thing. Now you can see the clear is starting to look pretty strong. Just our secondaries just start to spam out because of the blessing. In the first rune merchant that we got, we are now trying to get what we highlighted. Here I saw Spirit Tithe, it's pretty good. But it's only good later, so I went a bit for the Restore because you're spamming a lot early. In our goblet, we didn't got anything specifically good yet, but Ink Flow will get good once we get a Super Bomb. The Phantom Peddler didn't give us anything very nice, but it's fine. In this challenge, we got Paranormality, which is a fantastic pickup for our boost of damage as we scale of Energy Shield. This Peddler gives Decay Driver, which is solid for mobility if we ever get some way to put Corrosion. On this goblet, we got Ink and Blank. Ink and Blank is really strong, and you'll see the power that we just have on our first boss. Specifically, he has damage resistance, but because of Starfly, we can overcome resistance, and our damage is out of the roof. Just one-shot it, pretty much. Here we got sharp penmanship. It's pretty strong. I decided to pick up elemental power if I care to go with a rune of elements in case to spread out. Here I lock Spirit Tide just in case I don't get anything better. But we found Super Bomb, and now that we have Super Bomb, our build is ready to roll. Now, in this choices, we had a few picks, but Endless Assault is just so strong. Not only do we get a double capacity, which is a boost in damage, we also get Restoration, so we can kind of drop the Restoration later. And you see now with the Super Bomb, we are starting to get these massive drawings. Just start blasting through the zones. Here we got the Untold Effort, which is great. I presume the 50% increase cost also increases our damage, but I'm sure. We deleted that elite. We got another choice of runes. Here we got for multiple time. But we saw another super bomb. And if you can go for 2 super bombs, it is really, really strong. Here we have to do a little bit of classic rune setups. Try and fit another strong super bomb. So can I have like a full-on super bomb going on? In the goblet, we got the continuous design. I didn't spoke about continuous design, but the ink orb is pretty strong to get a really strong burst once we get into the ultimate. Here you can see just the massive AoE that we get with 2 super bombs. Like, it's outscaling the screen, and you can see like how fast we build this elite. Same thing with this elite. This elite we actually did not got the super bomb proc, that's why it died kind of slow. Here we got Take It All. Take It All is always interesting. You get some stuff. In this goblet we got more ink from initial orbs. These are really, really strong. In this elite, we forgot as well proc the super bomb, but it's so strong right now because of all the damage. In this, I decided to go with Search Ink because I forgot that the secondary skill was not ink based. So it was kind of a misstep by me. I would have went for the movement speed. And here we got Spirit Strike, the second part of our build. So now every time we deal skill damage with our secondary, we get a massive boost in just our weapon damage. So here we are just rearranging. In this goblet, we got another Search Ink. Doesn't matter much. This one, we did get Ink Flow, and now Ink Flow is starting to get strong because of the area damage. Now we got to the second boss. We then got anything particularly interesting. We got a nice Starfly with plus with projectiles, but it doesn't really matter because you can see it's just pops. We got a Phantom Skin, which is really nice for defensives. Now we got the Search Ink 3, but I should have chosen the speed. For a rune here, we went with the max capacity. Max capacity is a massive boost to our DPS, so if we can always have 1 or 2, it will be great. Oh, here we have to change some runes around. Classic gameplay of Season 7. In our third one, we got Skill Freak, which is pretty nice, even though I don't believe it triggers on the other uses of secondary. In this Peddler, we got Corrosion Shard, which makes us immune, and Energy Sandals, which gives us a bunch of skill damage, so pretty nice. And you can see, like, the clear, it's just entire screens are just cleared every time you press your secondary. Then your generation of ink is pretty strong at this point. It's automatic. See, this elite just gets pretty much demolished. Here we go for rampage time. We don't really need it, but you should be going in and out of your ultimate more. I don't do it because I kind of forgot. Here we finally pick Quick Sketch. Quick Sketch is a nice damage boost overall for everything we do. Here we can see on this stage the AoE clear is massive. Hit this entire wide open area. It's just insane. You can see an elite spawning and just immediately proc this immortality buff. And for this goblet, we had not really any good pickups, but Colorful Black does gives us base damage. It's pretty okay. In the Runestone Merchant, we saw max capacity. I could have went with max capacity. I was just looking around, seeing what I had. I locked it, but I saw Spirit Strike again, and I decided, why not? It can be really funny to just have another Spirit Strike. I would probably not went Spirit Strike, probably went Capacity. In this scroll, we just got nothing. Just kept going. Here you can see another massive invasion of elites and how fast they are deleted. And just how safe we feel. Like 75% resistance, we have Phantom Skin, we are really, really tanky. Just make sure you always aim a little bit up so that the start play triggers. Defensive Paddler offers us Fight for Immortality. We are already tanky, but why not? Here we got Inkflow 3. It's really strong. Elemental Magazine didn't really matter. Here we got a really nice one. Hand out 3 Occult Scrolls for another Goblet. This Goblets for this character is a nice pickup. We just get rid of 3 useless things. In this one, we get the Ink Regeneration, which is pretty nice. And we got Ink Regeneration 2 in this one. Now we got the Act 3 boss. This one is a bit annoying because it has phases, but it's nice. We got Blessing in Disguise, which is perfect in Act 3. Then we got a little bit of movement speed, which is also damage, even though you'll see we're kind of at the point we don't really need damage. Just pretty much deleting everything we touch. We're just gonna do the classic invulnerability phases. Just phased everything. You didn't even see the elite spawning from the top of the boss. It just immediately died. And then, of course, we just skipped an entire phase of this boss because we are too much damage. In this goblet, we just have Ink Curtain, which is great for ink points. We have just get rid of that. We don't need more weapon damage. Here we got Max Capacity. Max Capacity is amazing. And here we have to do another face-off of just rearranging every rune. So just take a little breather. Now, for this next stage, the Act 4, we didn't really got anything that we wanted, so we just skipped this. If we had something, maybe Skill Freak would have probably been switched over, but you need. So we're just clearing with ease. You see all these big triggers with little bleeding. That's the proc Super Strike. You can see this massive area just getting deleted, another massive area just getting deleted. There's an elite invasion. Rock. Here, I did a mistake. I should have dropped out of ultimate and press secondary so I can get a massive boost of damage. Staying in your ultimate just doesn't really do much. You're missing out a lot of damage by not just getting out and pressing to get super bombs proc. You see why? Because this guy is taking a little longer, and I just pressed here, and he dies. Here's the thing. I'm just AoE clearing everything. And this elite, from the start of the intro, we just got immediately melted. In this pickup, we didn't really got anything specifically. You just go Speedy Traveler, but it's kind of late to Speedy Traveler. And you can see just how crazy and how fast we just delete the entire screen at this point in stages. In this goblet, we didn't really got anything now, because we pretty much have everything that we need. So just kind of pick whatever fits best. If you get the defensives, whatever. It's elite. We forgot to press Super Bomb, I think. Then I remembered to get out and press it again. Which you should do more, because I was kind of like forgetting to reapply. Then here you see how much it actually does. Here we got the crit booster, the skill booster, but you don't crit. It's not important. But here you can see, I pressed Super Bomb, and this immediately got two-faced. And he's usually pretty tanky, those mounted guys. See another one, he immediately phased, he gets dismounted, and immediately pops. We got Heavy Shield, which we literally didn't even need more, but it's whatever. We are avoiding leaving blank because it costs ink points, so always avoid leaving blank. At this point, we just have our rune secrets pretty much set up. We're just trying to see if we can just fit in more stuff, but it just becomes so much more of a mess. Our last goblet, we got Ink Curtain level 3, which is great. Especially because we now in the final boss, in the Monarch. And you'll see, like, the Monarch is a phased boss, but we just immediately start with one phase. You can see the sizes of the Super Bomb, like, rocking. It is insanity. At this point, we're also very, very tanky, and if we even fear death, we can just press ultimate, which should be fine. And he's just blasting us and just tanking everything. Here's the last phase you saw. Press Super Bomb, press ultimate, and just immediately blast. And that's it. And we did a 55,000 with 5.5 million max hit. It's just a great build to try out. And we can see our runes array. We got secondary skill overload to 10. We got super bomb to 10. We got another super bomb to 8. We got spirit strike to 8. We got another spirit strike to 8, which should have been max capacity. We got secondary skill to 6, and then another max capacity to 6. We could have went way higher on skill capacity and skill damage, but we kind of went for a little more fun. But anyways, see you in the next build.